We're always smarter when Chase Daniel joins the show. He'll be on the call for Wednesday night, Missouri State, Middle Tennessee State. So now we're doing Wednesday night football. Then there's going to be MAC action on Tuesday night. Kickoff 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Make sure you check out the Chase Daniel Show on YouTube and Scoop City podcast that he's involved with. Worst loss of the NFL weekend was turned in by who?
Oh, it's Cardinals, right? It's got to be the Cardinals. I mean, you have a chance to go up 28-6 on probably the worst team in the NFL at home. And Dan, look, this is one of my pet peeves, and I'm sure it's one of yours too. How many times do we need to have something like this happen where they drop the football before they reach the goal line? Like, carry it in with two hands. We've already had a couple times this year. Carry it in with two hands, hand it to the ref like you're in grade school, and celebrate your team. Instead, it's just error after error after error. And look, the last three games, the Cardinals have lost by a combined 5 points and 3 walk-off field goals. And I mean, the Cam Ward interception turned touchdown too. It was just a litany of errors, but there's no doubt in my mind it's got to be the Cardinals yesterday.
Eagles lose to the Broncos, and it feels like there's been some issues there. I touched on this 3 weeks ago. It felt like something was off. They were winning, but it was taking some some spectacular plays, and all of a sudden that offense isn't clicking like we thought it was going to. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, look, the defenses are stacking the box against Jalen Hurts, and they're definitely not letting Saquon Barkley get to 2,000 yards like they did last year. And at times in the season when that has happened and defenses has dared throw Jalen Hurts to throw the football down the field, he hasn't been accurate at all. Now, at times like yesterday's game, he's been extremely accurate, and it's looked really, really good. That's sort of the issue here. And look, they're 4-1, right? And they've beaten 3 of the teams that I think are like top 5 in the NFL. They've beaten the Chiefs, they've beaten the Rams, and they've beaten the Bucs. Like, those teams are really elite teams. They've done it defensively, and they've done it in spurts of offensive prowess. They're not motioning as much as they were last year with Kellen Moore. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to get a beat on their offense. There's no consistency there, and they have 10 of 11 starters back. They should be a lot better. And look, I've been one of the bigger critics on Jalen Hurts, and when he looks good, he looks good. And when he looks bad, it just isn't clicking, and he's a very streaky type player. I'm not going to say this season reminds me of 2 years ago, I think, when they started 10-0, then really faltered down the stretch. But there are some signs offensively to what it was like 2 years ago where they faltered down the stretch. But I think they still have the best team in the NFL. I still think they have the best roster in the NFL. I would just go more so a signature win for Sean Payton, more so than like damning loss to the Eagles.
You got Drake Maye going into Buffalo and pulling out a win. And I know that you break down these quarterbacks, but I'm curious, is what we're seeing with Drake Maye real?
It's absolutely real. And look, I've broken him down quite a bit last year, quite a bit this year. It was about halfway through him starting last year, once he actually got onto the field, that he started playing really well. And then get with Josh McDaniels, and the offense has looked really, really good. Look, if you're not following him from a national standpoint, you are now, because this is what Drake Maye has done every single game, but it's now on for the national audience and 25 million people to see. So he's going to start getting his flowers nationally, but it's looked this good. And he did some, and this is sort of crazy to say, but he did some Josh Allen type stuff playing Josh Allen. And he's not quite the runner that Josh Allen is, but when he escapes the pocket, like I don't know if I've seen a better quarterback this year escaping pocket and making some stuff happen like he did. And so I just think the national audience is sort of waking up for it. But he's been playing this good all season long.
The Chargers game, the Commanders were the better team. That wasn't a fluke. But it feels like I'm always critical of the Chargers, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm always critical of the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Jaden Daniels coming back, I think it really helped them. And that's a really good defense at home with the Chargers. And, the first two games of the year, man, I thought I was on the Chargers bandwagon. I played for the Chargers. I know Justin Herbert personally, and he's playing like an MVP through two games. And then you sort of come back down to earth. You lose to the Giants and you lose to the Commanders, back-to-back NFC East losses. And it just doesn't look good. I still think their defense is really good, but there's a play and a stretch that really sort of lost them the game, and it was Justin Herbert. He had a guy open, Quentin Johnson, in the end zone on a crossing route, missed it. He ends up throwing a Keenan Allen back, gets knocked away, and then the very next play, it's an interception. And it just seems like that offensive line with multiple injuries just cannot stand up. And they really want to be, and it's crazy to say this, but they really want to be a throwing team with Harbaugh. And if they can't hold up in the pocket, and if they get from behind, that's really difficult for them to come from behind and win. But I thought the Commanders, I didn't think the Commanders were going to go in there and win, but, it is what it is any given Sunday.
Chase Daniel, ESPN, NFL and college football analyst. I know you've been very excited. Dak Prescott, you've
I knew you were going to say Dak.
Very well, but you were talking about how great he's been playing.
Yeah.
And granted, it's against the Jets, but still, what are you seeing that it is? And he doesn't even have CeeDee Lamb in there. So what is it about Dak's performance that you've seen that you expect to continue?
I think bullish would be the word, right? And the one thing for me is I'm a technician when it comes to quarterback play, so I don't really look at box scores. I like to watch the film, and I like to try and pick out certain plays or moments within the game that you are controlling the football game. Stats are misleading sometimes. Oh, let me throw the football down the field. We can do this. The way Dak's doing and playing right now, it's at an extremely high level. It's really at a level I've never seen him play because Brian Schottenheimer, who's calling plays and also the head coach, he puts a lot on him at the line of scrimmage. So Dak is consistently and constantly changing plays to get into a new play that's working. And I just haven't seen him do a lot. This offense, the way they're sequencing plays, meaning, hey, they're calling 21 personnel, but that makes it look like 11 personnel. They're in 22 personnel down the goal line, but they're throwing it. It just makes sense on what an NFL-type offense looks. They're using motion at an extremely high rate. There's a lot of shifts. There's a lot of motions. And at every single turn, Dak Prescott's been in control. And look, he's missing his 4 starting offensive linemen. He's missing his number 1 receiver, and he's missing his number 3 receiver. Like, I don't think this Dallas team is a good team. Do I think they can make the playoffs and win 10 games? Maybe. The defense is improving, but it was against the Jets. I give you that. But if you just really look more than the stats and the box score, I just like the way he's playing the position of quarterback, and he's been doing it all year long.
The Baker Mayfield resurgence here from last year and this year, and I don't know, since you played the position, the importance of the quarterback in the final 2 minutes or the coach. If you were going to say, I'm going to give a little bit more credibility to a coach or the quarterback, because Baker and Tampa Bay, again, in the final drive, final 2 minutes, you're winning games, and that's not a coincidence.
No, and he's only thrown 1 interception. He's thrown 10 touchdowns this year, thrown for a ton of yards. I think he's second or third in the NFL in passing yards. But it's got to be the quarterback in 2-minute drives, because I've been with some really good quarterbacks, and I've been with some not so good quarterbacks. The good quarterbacks in 2-minute drills, they call their own plays. I remember when I was with Breeze in 2-minute drills, he's one of the best of all time. In just watching him operate 2-minute, and Sean's like, Drew's like running out to the field for a 2-minute drive, and Sean's like, hey, you got it. Meaning you're calling the whole series. Now, I'm not sure if Baker's doing any of that, but the coach has the easy job. It's like, hey, 1 play, and there's a set amount of plays that you run in 2 minutes, unless you're huddling on 3rd down or red zone. So there's a menu of 10 plays, and Baker has just owned those, and all 4 wins have come in 2-minute drives. And I do think that sort of calluses a team. That gets a team sort of rolling in the right direction. And I just think in general, Like you have to start talking Baker Mayfield for MVP. Just look at his stats, look at what he's done, look at what he's meant to this team, and they have not been fully healthy either. I just think it's been an extremely cool situation for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And he has that personality that it's almost like he invites that drama. Like he wants it. That nothing seems to be too big for him. And
Yeah.
I think that has to go. Like you can't go out there and go like, I don't, good luck, guys. You need that guy who gets in the huddle, takes charge, and that's certainly Baker. The Chiefs getting Xavier Worthy back seemed like that unlocked a lot of different things, options for them. Is that the only thing with the Chiefs that you're seeing offensively that is changing them, making them a little more threatening?
Well, they got under center and they ran the football. They were in 12 personnel, they were in 21 personnel, and that's something they really haven't tried to do this year. And then I do think, though, the catalyst is Xavier Worthy. I do think what he's doing is opening up the field. And look, they haven't had a snap, and I know it's been talked about. They haven't had a snap with Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy on the field at all. And so my whole thing was like, hey, if the Chiefs can just get to 3-3, if they can get to 3-3 through 6 games, because they have some tough games coming up, they're going to be just fine. But I just have never really understood, like, hey, especially early this season, hey, the Chiefs, they suck. They're not that good. And there's been that. I'm like, okay, you still have the best quarterback in the entire world. You still have Travis Kelce who can do it. I think that offensive line has shored up a little bit more. But Xavier Worthy, when you have a weapon like that, it's not Tyreek Hill-esque for the Chiefs, but it does open up the short pass game. It does open up the run game, because when you saw Xavier Worthy last week, the defense was in 2 high safeties. And Dan, you're really smart, but if you're in 2 high safeties, there's one less guy in the box, you're going to run the football. And look, I just don't want Patrick Mahomes to continue to be the leading rusher on the team, so someone else has to step up for that, but it definitely helps.
I'm going to be the guy who says, can you explain the 22 personnel and the 21 personnel and the 12 personnel and the 11 personnel?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dan, when we're saying 12 personnel, the first digit talks to the amount of running backs in the game. So, okay. 12 personnel, one running back. The second digit always talks to the amount of tight ends in your group. So 12 personnel is 1 back, 2 tight ends, and you need 5 skill players, Dan. So how many receivers is that? 2, right? And then so if you go 22 personnel, which is like, it just means heavy personnel, it's 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and only 1 receiver. There's also 13 personnel, which I think the Chiefs do a good bit of, 1 back, 3 tight ends. And I think you're sort of seeing a resurgence of these heavier personnels, just talking about trends overall in the National Football League, because so many teams play just nickel defense. So they have 5 defensive backs on the field at all times rather than 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. And so when teams are playing nickel personnel, 5 DBs, even to 22 personnel, 2 backs, 2 tight ends, you're seeing teams run the football a lot more, because teams are so sick and tired of guys just sitting back in 2 high safety looks and saying, hey, try to throw the ball overhead. They're just like, we can't do it. And that's why I think you're seeing a resurgence of the play action pass under center game as well. So these are the trends I'm seeing. I hope I explained it good enough.
You did, and I've been saying this for years, that eventually you're going to have an offense that's going to be all power. They're going to run it down your throat, because everybody's playing that prevent defense, and you got quicker guys, not beefier guys up front. And now you're seeing that with Saquon Barkley. I mean, you're seeing the resurgence in running the football there.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that explanation. I think
of course.
Yeah. And when you do games on TV, just make sure that you speak our language, not your language.
Yes. You guys are really smart. And so I just figured that the audience of the Dan Patrick Show knew that. But yeah, that's good advice on TV, because I do try to, the best advice I got so far was from Kirk Herbstreit. He's like, hey, call a game like your mother-in-law's watching. Yeah. I was like, oh, Okay. Like if you want to say cover two, that's great. Just explain what cover two means. And so that's been great advice. But you guys, come on, you know that.
No, we're not. Because I could have gone through this entire segment and acted like I knew what the 12 personnel
I saw
was.
you laughing when I said that, but I'm glad. Like I have, like that's sort of what I try to do on my YouTube page too. I try to like explain some stuff like that for the average football fan.
Well, when we throw out A gap and all of that stuff, and just
that's a little much. The A gap though is the gap between the center and the guard. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, I know that. That's
See, you're smart.
When I was running the quarterback sneak, I went A gap all the time, all the time. Have fun on Wednesday night, and remember, just explaining. You don't have to talk wall to wall. Yes. Pick your spots. Be your brilliant self. And enlighten people on some things.
I will. Yeah, I've actually, I like to talk a little bit, but I've felt like during the broadcast that if you let it breathe a little bit, the atmosphere, and you don't have to fill every single spot with words. And so that's been helpful.
Thank you for
the advice.
Yeah. Do not go wall to wall. Make sure that you don't talk too much because your play-by-play guy still has to do his job. It's just you're punching. You're just hitting. That's what you do. Hit and then get out. Hit, get out.
Who do you think the best analyst is in the NFL right now? Or who do you enjoy listening to?
I like Olsen a lot.
Yeah.
Herbie has kind of opened my eyes and ears a little bit more because I'm still amazed when the play happens. And then you come back, and then you have to, basically decide this is what happened. You're going to describe it. I'm like, golly, I never saw that. And I think that's what's amazing when you see, if Romo at his peak or Collinsworth, Herbie. I mean, there's a lot of good analysts, but the great ones give you enthusiasm, nuggets. They're smart. They're to the point. They get out, and it makes it a crisper broadcast. So
that's smart. I'm going to do that would be this Wednesday.
Yes. I'll be more than happy to critique you on it.
Please. I need. You know what? Here's the thing too. I know you guys got to go, but old ex-players that play, we like to be coached, and so much of the fact that, at least what I've heard from broadcast analysts, we don't get coached because it's so subjective. Like you can think something's awesome and then my boss thinks something stinks. But overall, I feel like there's a good feel for what a broadcast should look and feel like. And so I think that's the hard thing about being an analyst is like everyone likes something different, but I'm just going to be true to myself at the end.
Yeah, and I think Aikman had got to this point where he didn't give a bleep. Like he's just going to call the game. And I think that changed with Troy. He's just like, hey, this is it. And I love that because I don't want you to be beholden to anybody, playing favorites. I just want you to call the game. But Wednesday night, all right. I didn't expect that I would be watching Middle Tennessee State and Missouri State, but now I am. Now I am, Chase.
There you go. I love it. Thanks, man.
Thank you, buddy. All right, when we come back, we will give you our best and worst of the weekend right after this.